All right, so some Math 9 practice here, multiplying a monomial times binomials and trinomials. So let's start with number 19 here in the middle, guys. This one is one of the trickier ones, right? Because we've got three terms here. So we distribute, right? Remember with the arrows. So we'll take the multiplying of this first term and we distribute, we multiply by this term first. So what's negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. And then m to the power of 5 times m squared, they're the same variables at the bottom. So you keep the base and then you add the exponents then. M to the 5 times plus 2 is m to the 7. Now, I haven't really expanded this and shown you why, but you should know this from last year. But m to the power of 5 looks like this, right? There's m multiplied by itself 5 times. If I then multiply this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, times 2 more m's, guess what? That's the same as m to the power of 7. So that's simply why that happens. And I could put little brackets around here if that'll help, and see, there we go. Now we have m to the 5 times m squared. Gives you m to the 7. So you should know that, but that's why, if you're wondering. Okay. Negative 4 now times negative 9m. Okay, so negative 4 times negative 9 is going to be plus... What's 4 times 9? 4 times 9 is 36. Good. M to the 5th times m to the 1 is m to the 6. Excellent. Okay. So 2 arrows, 2 terms. I got a third arrow coming up here. What is negative 4 m to the 5th times 11? Except it's going to be minus. Say, positive times a minus is a minus. And 4 times 11 is 44. And m to the 5th. Awesome. 3 arrows, 3 terms. Everything looks good there. I think that should be your final answer. Okay. Let's do one of the fraction questions. Let's do one of the fraction questions because that looks they look a little bit tougher, don't they? So I'll do 25 with you here. If you've done 25 already, that's great. If you haven't, you can do this along with me. So if we have a fraction times a trinomial, you still just simply multiply the numbers times the numbers. So this is going to be fraction now. So what I would suggest, if you need to write this out, this fraction times this number, if you need to kind of like work that out on the paper, you can do that on the side if you want, like negative 3 over 5 times 20. And what you would do is you would go, the 5 and the 20 can reduce, right? So that's going to be a 4 over 1. So negative 3 times 4 divided by 1 is now going to be negative 12. All right? So that's going to be very important that you guys know how to do that. So that's the first distribution. Good. Let's do the second one now. So negative, and I'll do this off to the side as well over here maybe. So negative 3/5 times negative 15. Well, a negative times a negative is going to be positive. And I can simplify 15 divided by 5. See, 15 on top, 5 on the bottom. That's going to be 3 over 1. So now I have negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. I didn't do the a's here. Sorry, on the first one, this is going to be a to the 9. 7 plus 2. So we have plus 9, so plus 9, a to the 7 times a to the 1. So we're going to have 9, a to the 8. And then finally, again, negative 3/5 times negative 10, that's going to be a plus. And you can just kind of do this mentally if you want, but 10 over 5 is going to be 2 over 1. All right, so 3 times 2 is 6. And that's a to the 7, because there's no a's here. So as long as you can do these fractions, multiplying the fractions, and I always try and get my students to do the simplification before you multiply to big numbers, because it's just easier to simplify with smaller numbers. So what I mean by that is this. If I go back to this down here, right, this whole negative 3/5 times negative 15. So if you didn't divide out or simplify before you multiply, you'd end up with this. You'd end up with 3 times 15, which is 45 over 5. So when these numbers get bigger, sometimes it's a little tougher to simplify them, right? Like if you have 568 divided by 212, like it's like, oh, those are big numbers. I don't know. How do I simplify that? But if that came from a series of smaller fractions that were multiplied together, sometimes when they're smaller fractions, you can simplify it from the top and bottom a little bit easier. So this one obviously is going to be positive 9 because that's just a single digit multiplication or division question here, so that's no problem. But like I say, if you have a number of fractions multiplied together, you could get some really big numbers, and then you'd have to simplify those, which might take some time. So I always go teach this, that you should try and simplify first. That's 3 over 1. 15 over 5 is 3 over 1. Do that first, and then it just becomes really easy. Okay? All right. I will do 26 as well with you here. 26. Okay? So if you want to do 26 with me, I'll do that, and then I'll give you some time to work on the rest. So multiplying fractions, again, I'll do that off to the side here. So 4/3 times 9 over 8. Here's a good example where we can simplify. 4 over 8 becomes 1 over 2. You see that? When I divide both by 4, I get 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 9 over 3 becomes 3 over 1. And that really helps me because now I just have 1 times 3 divided by 1 times 2, or just 3 over 2. So this fraction multiplied by this fraction is simply 3 over 2. Now I can focus on the variables. So I'm going to have a to the power of what? Shout it out. Anybody paying attention? A to the power of 6, right? 2 plus 4, good. A to the 6. And b to the power of 9, yeah, 3 plus 6. Awesome. Signs are correct. All right, good. So now we need to do this 4/3 times 27 over 16. So let's do that one. 4/3 times 27 over 16. I'll do that in black maybe. 27 over 16. So 4 over 16 is going to be 1 over 4. 27 over 3 is going to be 9 over 1. So that should be 9 over 4. Now, if you did it the other way, what's 4 times 27? That's 80. That's 108. 108. What's 3 times 16? That's 48. So you see, simplifying this thing can get a little tricky. It can be time consuming.
Good morning, RCS. Hey.
So that's why I simplify before I multiply, because it's a lot easier. Okay, let's finish this question, guys. Hey, boys, yeah, pay attention up here, please. So I've got plus 9 over 4. That's what I get when I multiply these two fractions. And the variable parts are going to be a to the power of 7 and b to the power of 4. So I had two multiplications, two distributions, so I should have two terms. There's one term, there's two terms. All right. Any questions about that? All right, head back to your package there, wherever you picked up, wherever you left off there. Again, you should have all the questions in your notes package done. That's part of your homework. So all these questions, most of them we did together. Some of them are all up to you. But make sure all those questions are answered and you have your answers circled. And then when you're done that notes package, get started on your textbook questions. Selected answers for worksheet.